If you love anti-heroes, then boy do I got news for you. Spawn is finally doing a reboot, and here's everything you need to know about it. Let's face it, the Spawn movie from the late 1990s wasn't something particularly noteworthy to brag about, especially in light of the tough treatment it received at the time. At that time, superhero movies were beginning to emerge and were even beginning to stand out as something special and fantastic. But they had not yet made the transition into being utterly amazing or mind-blowing. Keep in mind that when we were where we are now, a few decades ago, technology and storytelling had not yet caught up.
I told him, well done, not burnt. I'm gonna have fun with you.
But one would assume that Spawn would eventually receive far better treatment than he has thus far, being one of the darker and hence slightly more well-liked characters in comics. This appears to be about to change, as it appears that the new upcoming Spawn movie is finally starting to garner some traction. And after a long period of radio silence on the project, Spawn creator Todd McFarlane broke the word about the upcoming Spawn movie revival. Todd McFarlane originally intended to smash that like button or, direct his brand new Spawn film, but it's been a long, difficult path to get out of development hell. Nevertheless, it appears he has set aside those ambitions as the movie has yet to find a new director. This is still a growing story since the Blumhouse initiative is still looking for a studio partner. Todd McFarlane, the creator behind Spawn in the early 1990s, was a big fan of Marvel, but he wanted to go a different path. So being a heavy hitter in the industry, Todd McFarlane invented the comic book anti-hero known as Spawn and left Marvel to found Image Comics with the help of some of the hottest names in the comic book business, including Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, and Eric Larson. But what plot should we expect from the reboot? Before we get to that, it's important to know who and what Spawn really is. McFarlane's Spawn, which featured a unique character he created when he was an adolescent, was one of the first books released by Image. Detroit-born and bred, Al Simmons was a distinguished American soldier, CIA agent who's a Marine. Simmons is deceived by his superiors and killed while on a mission in Botswana. Simmons, who was sent to hell for his actions on Earth, makes a bargain with the demon Malebolgia to transform him into Hellspawn, a strong supernatural being. Simmons travels a long way to rediscover himself after being sent back to Earth and losing all memory of himself except for his name and knowledge of his death. Spawn is a strong being, yet one of his early flaws was a limited supply of power. Every time Spawn employed magic, a limited resource was used up. This prompted Spawn to lean on his military background, which allowed him to use a variety of weaponry in addition to his supernatural abilities, including machine guns, swords, and other weapons. Since Spawn is a hell-born hero with powers that originate in the underworld and was slated to lead a demon army until rebelling against his handler, he was initially an unusual kind of hero that many people struggle to understand. Apart from the fact that he was a wonderful person outside of work, his background does not really depict him in a positive light. From his creation, Spawn has consistently been one of the most conflicted superheroes out there, yet it was thought that, initially, transferring him to the big screen may be a piece of cake. Regrettably, the carrot kind of burned in the oven and had to be eventually thrown out with the trash.
No! Don't! He's my dad!
It'll take Spawn's hard edge and run it along the audience's nerve endings in a way that will remind many of us what the hero is all about. So I think we should all expect that this new film will not resemble the cutesy, feel-good movies of the 1990s. He's only ever tolerated a lot of people and has never been very kind to anyone. He has certainly had his bad days and his good days, but this movie doesn't seem to be at all going to focus on either of those things. Instead, it appears that we'll undoubtedly get something that is a bit more brazen and unquestionably in line with McFarlane's conception of what Spawn should be. Spawn was never a clear-cut type of hero. He was cruel and unpleasant, and he drew heavily from his prior human life experience. He had to give up a lot of his human characteristics in order to survive the dangers of being who and what he was. He also had to fight brutally and ruthlessly in order to defeat many of his foes. Back in the 90s, a lot of us wanted that kind of hero, not the dramatically toned-down one that caused some people to jump up and leave the cinema. As McFarlane has confirmed, he wants to create a really distinctive comic book movie, one that resembles a horror film more than an action blockbuster. The actual Spawn will be a shady entity that hides in the shadows, hidden from the human protagonists that are haunted by him. He even further stated in an interview with Shoryuken, "I have very few demands for the movie. It has to be rated R. There's no debate around that. I'm less concerned about what happens in the movie as long as Spawn is cool and badass. That's it. Everything else is up for conversation." So as for the plot of this new film, trust that it will be nothing less than a bloody, revolting, all-out brawl, which is exactly what we should be looking for. And for other details of the storyline, well, Spawn's plot specifics are secret. Yet based on prior interviews, we may assume that the movie will pay more attention to the variety of human people that become involved in Spawn's supernatural actions rather than Al Simmons and his metamorphosis into Spawn. As one of the human leads, Jeremy Renner's detective Sam Twitch will serve as the movie's fulcrum.
You touch her, and you die slow.
All right, Spawn. No more fun and games.
So who's going to be part of the cast? The actor Jamie Foxx was reportedly chosen to portray McFarlane's main character in a May 2018 article. Foxx and Blumhouse Productions president Jason Blum both confirmed the casting, stating, "We're thrilled Jamie Foxx will be playing the title role in our movie adaptation of Spawn," Blum said in a statement. "He's an incredible actor and a huge fan of the Spawn universe that Todd McFarlane created. With a depth of talent Jamie can commit to the role, and Todd at the helm bringing the world of Spawn to life, we could not be more excited for this film." Later that summer, in July 2018, Jeremy Renner agreed to take on the role of Sam Twitch, a comic book character who works as a city detective and looks into crimes that have Spawn connections. McFarlane applauded Renner in a statement, saying, "As a first-time director, I wanted to surround myself with the most talent and most skilled people I can on all fronts. I knew the person on screen the most was this police officer Twitch Williams. We needed as strong a person as possible because he would be the face of the film." Jeremy Renner was at the top. When McFarlane stated that an Academy Award-winning guy was once associated with Spawn but fell off in an interview with Shoryuken at Final Combat in Las Vegas in 2020, the internet immediately assumed McFarlane was confirming Jamie Foxx's departure from the film. However, comicbook.com later revealed that McFarlane's Academy Award guy was actually a writer and not Foxx. McFarlane himself smashed that subscribe button and rang that notification bell. But no, seriously, the guy went on the Bird app and tweeted a response stating that the rumors were wrong. So I guess we really are having Foxx's Spawn in this anticipated reboot. And as for the premiere date of the film, Spawn's release date is unknown. At one point, the production was supposed to start in New York City in January 2019. Unfortunately, for the majority of 2019, the project was shelved. Yet following Joker's critical and commercial success, studios are now interested in making an R-rated comic book movie. Since then, construction on Spawn is apparently back on schedule, so I'm betting you'll have it to your books. Check out these videos next.